The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. The apostles said to the Lord, "Increase our faith." The Lord replied, "If you had faith the size of a mustard seed, you would say to this mulberry tree, 'Be uprooted and planted into the sea,' and it would obey you. Who among you would say to your servant, who has just come in from plowing or tending sheep in the field, 'Come here immediately and take your place at table'? Would he not rather say to him, 'Prepare something for me to eat, put on your apron and wait on me while I eat and drink? You may eat and drink when I am finished'? Is he grateful to that servant because he did what he was commanded to do? So should it be with you. When you have done all that you have been commanded, say, 'We are unprofitable servants. We have done what we were obliged to do.'" The Gospel of the Lord. Do you know any unprofitable servants? Kind of people that Jesus refers to in the gospel that we just heard. Have you ever met one or more useless servants? With another translation of that phrase. Well, maybe the United States Congress, Democrats and Republicans who can't get their act together when it comes to figuring out what's best for our country. But actually, Jesus was referring to everyone, as he says today, when you've done all that you've been expected to do, say, "We are useless servants or unprofitable servants. We've done no more than we've been obliged or obligated to do." So Jesus' words are directed at those of us who sometimes or often feel that we're doing God a great favor. We're doing God a great favor by coming to church, praying, acting morally and responsibly, or simply just doing the right things, which is all well and good. But Jesus says, don't expect a gold star when we do what's expected of us in the first place. So if you hired somebody to paint your house or to mow the lawn, would you be expected to serve them dinner afterwards or be effusive in your thanks to them? No, because that person was only doing what he or she agreed to do in the first place, for which they're most likely being compensated. Likewise, Jesus is saying something similar to us, and it's this, perhaps to the young people here today. He might be saying, well, when you've done your jobs, like taking out the garbage, cleaning your room, not fighting with your siblings, when you've been honest in school, refraining from bullying anybody, when you haven't cheated or downloaded papers from the internet, well, you're doing what you're supposed to do. To the rest of us, Jesus might say, when you do your best to be moral and ethical at your job, at work, when you've labored hard for the needs and the rights of others, when you voiced your opposition to abortion and demonstrated for respect for all life, when you've said your prayers, come to church, followed the 10 Commandments, when you've been faithful to your marriage vows, your spouse amidst all of the temptations that are out there, when you've spent time preparing the Sunday homily, when you've done everything that we're supposed to do, remember, we're just doing our job. We're just doing what we're obligated to do. We're doing what's expected of us. So be happy and content without headlines, Jesus is basically saying. All you need to do, though, is to keep doing what's already expected and then some. And we all need to, as we heard in the second reading from Paul to Timothy, stir into flame the gift that we have received, the faith that we've shared, the faith that brings us here again and again. But don't expect the Nobel Prize for doing the right thing. A couple of years ago, there was this homeless man in Boston who turned over to the police this backpack stuffed with nearly $42,000 worth of cash and traveler checks, which he found at the South Bay Mall in the Dorchester area of the city of Boston. And the man could only provide the police with his name, which was Glenn James, and the address of the shelter where he was living. And so he gave it to the police, who later found the owner. They went through it, and it was a Chinese national whose passport was right in the bag. So this fellow, Glenn James, was given the special citation from the Boston Police Commissioner for his extraordinary show of character and honesty. And you know what he said? He said, "What's all the fuss about? I was just doing the right thing, returning what didn't belong to me." A lot of people think that they have to be in the headlines in order to make a difference in the world. And Jesus says no to that in this gospel. We just need a little faith, as small as a mustard seed, and a little bit of action, the seed and action, in harmony with others, in order to move mountains and transplant trees into the seas, as it were. That's all. So just a little faith combined with action, and God will do the rest. So today's gospel is really very, very simple. First, we need to persevere in asking God to increase the faith, as we sang, to gather us in, to increase our faith, even when we feel very little consolation from being a believer. It doesn't take away all of our problems, but to persevere. And secondly, in those rare moments of consolation, when we've done all that we've been expected, we have to acknowledge that for disciples of Jesus, there's no such thing as going beyond the call of duty. As Paul says, let us stir into flame the gifts God has given to us for others, for one another, despite the fact that we remain his unprofitable but deeply loved servants.